Hey there, welcome back to the Millennial Book Junkie. My name is Monique, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a vlog where I read thrillers with very similar titles. There are so many thriller books out there with similar titles, if not the same exact titles. You have The Girl in Cabin 13, The Girl in Cabin 11, The Girl in the Lake, The Girl on the Beach, What She Saw, What She Left, and even some thriller books with the exact same titles like The Widow, Last Scene, and The Patient's Secret. So I thought it'd be fun to do a reading vlog where I read two thriller books with similar titles and pit them against each other, kind of like a battle. Which one wins? But there is one caveat to this fun vlog activity, and that is that I cannot go out and buy a bunch of new books that have similar titles. I had to limit my choices to my physical TBR, at least just for one of the books. So basically, I looked through my physical TBR shelf because I need to make a dent in that. And I thought, are there books out there that have similar titles to the books in my shelves? And sure enough, there was. I chose from my shelf Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. And wouldn't you know it, online there is another book out there called Local Girl Missing by Claire Douglas. And so I am pitting these two books next to each other, Local Girl Missing and Local Woman Missing. And we are going to find out at the end of this vlog which book was better. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experiences reading both of these books. I am going to start with Local Girl Missing. I got this one on Libby, so I didn't spend any money, and this one is on audio. So I'm going to start by listening to Local Girl Missing, and we will see how this goes. Okay, I'm gonna start Local Girl Missing. I'm gonna listen to that one on audio, and I also have the Kindle version, but I have to clean my bathroom. So I think I'm gonna start by listening to that one on audio while I clean. So I'll keep you posted on how it goes. Okay, I just finished cleaning all the bathrooms, and let me tell you, having an audiobook while you are cleaning bathrooms is the best thing ever. Me and Stella are relaxing now, and I am about 45 minutes into Local Girl Missing, and I'm really enjoying it. The beginning is giving me Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter vibes, and from the very beginning, I was very hooked into the story and the characters. Right now, a young woman has gone missing. Well, she went missing years ago, and her best friend is returning to their hometown to investigate what happened to her because her remains have just washed up after like years. I'm not sure how many years at the moment, but it's been a very long time. So now the main character is returning back to her old hometown, and she is reliving all these old memories, and we're getting flashbacks, and I'm really liking it so far. So we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to relax for a little bit now and then pick it up again later. So I will let you know about how things are going in the next update. All right, it's the next day. Last night I read up to about 23% in Local Girl Missing, and I am really enjoying it. Our main character, Francesca, has returned home and paired up with her best friend's brother to, find what happened to the best friend. And a few spooky things are happening to her along the way, so that's always good, but we are getting the perspective of also the woman who went missing. So that's really good too. I am enjoying it so far. We're getting a lot of backstory, and so far, nothing outrageous has happened, but it does have my attention. So I am enjoying it so far. I'm also going for an audiobook walk tonight. So I anticipate making more progress in the book while I'm out there. And I'm going to bring you with me. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've never gone on like an official audiobook walk because this one is run by a group of people called the Silent Book Club. And they have a chapter out here in San Diego, and they usually meet up at different venues to read as a group. And I've gone to a couple of their events before, but tonight they're hosting an audiobook walk. So a bunch of us are going to get together and go for a 30-minute audiobook walk. So I'm really excited. So I'll take you with me, and my sister's coming too. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm on my way to the audiobook walk, and I am very excited. It is pretty hot. I mean, right now it's 81. I think that's pretty hot. That's hot. But I don't have any pockets in my walking pants, so I am gonna bring a sweatshirt, but I think I'm just gonna like tie it around my waist and I'll use that to like hold my phone. I don't know if I feel like walking and holding my phone, so. But yeah, I'm excited. Okay, I just made it. Not a bad view. There's sister. So we got here a little early and I think it starts at 6:30. So we're just gonna hang out and catch up and then we're gonna go on our walk and see how it goes. Okay, I am leaving the audiobook walk. That was so much fun and I cannot wait to do it again. I think they do it once a month, so I would love to do it again. I ended up getting 28% into the book and just when it started to get good, the story's kind of unraveling. Our main character and the brother of the girl missing are still kind of going around their hometown and just kind of interviewing like people they used to go to school with and stuff, and we're just like learning more and more. So I kind of love those books where you kind of just like go through and you're investigating the mystery of what happened to the missing girl. So I'm really liking it so far. So I think I'm gonna go home now, have some dinner, and then I will hopefully read a little bit more tonight before bed. So I will update you in the next video. Okay, good morning. It's the next day, and I am off to get my nails done with my mother in law, and I am hoping to make more progress in the book. Yesterday, after the audiobook walk, I did end up listening just a little bit before bed, but I'm only like 35% of the way through. And I think last night I got to like 28% at the audiobook walk or something. So I haven't made like a ton of progress since my last update, but I did want to update you because I love going to the nail salon and listening to my book. So, me and my mother in law are about to go do that. So, I'm excited to be able to make some progress. So, I'll give you an update on the book after that or later at the end of today after I get some more reading in. Okay, I'm like 80% of the way through. It is the next day in the evening, and I feel like the momentum is kind of stopped. Nothing is really happening. I mean, our main character is noticing some very odd things happening to her. People are leaving her spooky messages, and she is reconnecting with old friends to find out what happened to her friend. She is still with the brother, Daniel, and they're kind of working together. And she has feelings for him that she's trying to grapple with. And we are still getting flashbacks of the missing girl, but I feel like it's kind of more of the same. I feel like, yes, spooky stuff keeps happening, but I'm like no closer to figuring out what happened to this missing girl. So it's kind of like a good chunk of time is still kind of spent just like introducing like old friends that have come back in the picture and really just a lot of weird stuff that keeps happening, which is weird. It's not that it's not weird, but it's just like I'm kind of no closer to figuring out what happened to the girl. So I'm kind of just like, okay, let's wrap it up. Let's see what's actually happening here. So 80% of the way through now. I think I'm going to do a little bit more reading before bed and then hopefully finish up tomorrow. So I'll let you know how it goes. Good morning. I have just finished Local Girl Missing by Claire Douglas, and I will say that okay, I'm a fan of Claire Douglas. I will say that. It's my very first by her, and the story was interesting. It pulled me along, and the beginning definitely pulled me in. There was a lot of mystery, and the writing just kind of felt very dark and emotional. And I think that's initially what I really liked about this book and also what I still like about this book because the writing was very good and the story really like it pulled you in, but the way that it ended, it's just like I think she used a storytelling device that I just don't like, that has never really sat with me. And if I tell you what it is, it's going to blow. It's like a spoiler. So I can't really tell you what it is, but I will say I don't like it. And when I found out that's what happened, I was like it's just something I don't like in a thriller. So I was like, but and then there was another part, that deals with assault in this book that is always hard to read and it's not my favorite. And I feel like, it's just always used in thrillers and I'm just kind of like over it at this point. But I did like the story and I did think that it was a good book. So I think I'm gonna give it I don't know. I think maybe between a 3 and a 4. So maybe like a 3.75. Don't hold me to that because I'm gonna think about it a little more, but I think I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I don't know. Like I would definitely read another Claire Douglas book. Like it was a good story and the character development was good and it, like I said, it really pulled you on. I will say that it dragged on a little bit though, like in like the second half, like the beginning of the second half, because the same stuff kind of kept happening and we were never any closer to what was going on, like what the answers that we were looking for. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I think I need to think about it, but I would right now, if I had to like guess a rating, I would think maybe 3.75, but I think I'm going to think about it a little more. Yeah. But I will read more Claire Douglas because I did, like I said, enjoy the story. And so now I'm going to start reading Local Woman Missing. I have the physical copy of this book upstairs. I got it used and it has sprayed edges. And I'm so excited because I just feel like I've heard so much good stuff about this book. And I'm really excited to see which book I'm going to like more. So let's go ahead and start Local Woman Missing. All right, time for another update. I am about 70 pages into Local Woman Missing. I am enjoying it. We're getting a few different perspectives. I also went in this book blind, so I don't know what it's about. I assume it's about a girl missing. No, but really it is. Essentially, in the beginning, we have this couple. A woman goes out on a run and she presumably gets abducted. And then we get the perspective of a young girl who is kidnapped. And we are kind of going from the past to the present, from the past when she initially got kidnapped, and then to now. So far, I'm really hooked into it. The writing is very, popcorn thrillery where you kind of can't put it down. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I am listening to it on audio as well. So I do sort of listen to it when I take my dog out. But then, like, when I'm home, obviously I'm picking up my physical copy that I love. So far, so good. I will keep you posted. Aw, look at my baby. We just went out for a walk. It is very hot outside. But I just wanted to give you an update. I am 178 pages into Local Woman Missing, and I am actually. I don't want to say that I don't like it because I do, but it's just kind of like so for me. I know that's like weird to say because like I don't know. I feel like this is a very like hyped up book and I loved It's Not Her. But this one I'm just kind of feeling lukewarm about so far. I have a feeling maybe at the end I'll feel differently, but right now I guess I'm kind of a little bit past the midway point. We have this young girl that was kidnapped and then now she has returned 11 years later. And of course that's not a spoiler because it's in the book jacket, but she's returned and everyone is trying to figure out basically what happened to her. And then we go to the other perspective, which is 11 years in the past from when the little girl actually was first abducted, because at that point there was a lot of other drama happening because we had two missing women basically at the same time when that was going on. So I know it's kind of hard to follow, but essentially we are getting past and present perspectives, and I am just kind of like watching the story unfold. There's little things here and there that I'm like, ooh, what's that? But so far I like it, but I don't love it, and I can't figure out why. I think it's just because maybe because the characters are just kind of like so right now. I don't know. Maybe they'll get a little more interesting. In the beginning, I was really hooked because we had this little girl who was abducted and she was like trapped, and it was very like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? But then now I just kind of feel like it's just we're trying to see what's going on. We're trying to see who abducted her, and we're trying to figure out who abducted the two women in the beginning. So I I'm just kind of like so on it, but I'm curious and I'm interested. So I'm really hoping that it picks up and that it's more mind-blowing, you know. I'm sure it will, but we will see. Okay, taking a little bit of a reading break because my sister and I are going to the San Diego Book Festival, and we decided we're going to wear the books that we've read this year around our necks, like necklaces. So let me show you my sister's so far. Look how cute this is. Oh my God. And it's on both sides. We just got these on Amazon, these little keychain things. And then we picked these up at Hobby Lobby, the chains, and we just printed out the books and we're just gonna wear them as necklaces. We're gonna look so cute. I can't wait. Look at this. This is my sister's. My little keychains haven't come in yet, but look how cute. I mean, and we have to add like 50 because we both read like 50 books this year so far. But we'll get there. I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, I have completed Local Woman Missing, and I am sad to say that I am disappointed. But that is not to say that I will never read another Kubica because I loved It's Not Her. So I will be reading much more by Mary Kubica, but I don't think this one was for me. I felt a little disappointed by the ending. I kind of felt like the entire book was like basically a delicious popcorn thriller, and then in the end, like a lot of things that happened in the book, like I don't know, they just didn't I by the ending I didn't really understand why a lot of those things happened. And I kind of feel like there were parts of this book that were just meant to make the reader like curious and interested, but that went nowhere. So I don't like that because I feel like I'm being tricked. And there's nothing that I hate more than being tricked. Like, I'm sure everyone can relate to that, right? Like, I just kind of felt like they were just doing it to make the reader like confused and like addicted, but like I'm more addicted when a story is like good, when the events happen for a reason. And there were just some events in this one that I was just like, why did that even happen then? But it was interesting. It was interesting. And I want to read more by Mary Kubica, but I don't this one just didn't sit well for me. It just didn't. All right, guys, it is time to decide who was the winner in this similar titles vlog. Was it Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, or was it Local Girl Missing by Claire Douglas? Let's take a minute. Let's just take a beat and look at both of these books in turn. Let's study some of their merits and their drawbacks, okay? We're going to start with Local Girl Missing by Claire Douglas. And now let's talk about some of the good stuff in this book, some of the things I loved. I really enjoyed the character depth in this book. I truly despised the main character, so great job, Claire Douglas. And I also felt bad for the girl missing. I really enjoyed getting their perspectives. I feel like the depth of the characters was there, so I actually really felt connected to them. I also really loved the dark atmosphere. The mood was dark and sad, and I really felt like the same way that I did when I was reading Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. So I really liked the kind of dark atmosphere of this one. There were also some spooky elements in this book that I really liked because I really love horror. So anything that is kind of like, ooh, what's that bump in the night kind of spooky element, I love that. But when it comes to the drawbacks of this book, I think the biggest thing was that in the middle, I just really didn't feel like anything happened. Or maybe I should rephrase. It's more like the same stuff was happening over and over. So like nothing new was kind of happening in the middle. And I was kind of wondering when we were going to make any progress in the book. Like when were we going to find out actually what happened to Sophie, who was the local girl missing in this book. Now let's talk about Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. Let's talk about some of the good things that I liked. I did really like that this was a popcorn thriller. It read like a popcorn thriller in that it was very addicting. I didn't want to put it down. I was kind of immersed in figuring out what was going to happen next. And just from the first like 50 to 100 pages, I was really enjoying the fact that, the mystery of it, of like, okay, what happened to this young girl that we know was missing in the beginning of the book? Like, what happened to her? And I really loved the beginning actually, because we get a very in-depth description as to what was going on with the little girl who got abducted in the beginning of this book. So bravo, Mary Kubica. I really liked that. But I think the drawbacks for me were that I really had no connection to these characters. They weren't as in depth as they were in Local Girl Missing. And I found myself just kind of not really caring about them. And I think another dislike that I had with this book is that there were some events that happened in this book that I felt were manufactured just to get the readers like pulse pounding, but really nothing came of it. And I really don't like that in books. I feel like if you put something in a thriller that makes you go, ooh, what's that? Like you should have like a good meaning behind that. Like there should be some intention behind that versus like, oh no, it was nothing. It didn't have anything to do with anything. Oh, okay. Great. So that just kind of sent me on a whirlwind for nothing. I do not like that. And this book had one of those. And I just felt like I don't know why that was there. And the sad part is that that whole situation that I'm thinking of that happened that way was actually one of the more interesting situations in the story that I really was curious about, and I wanted it to mean something and it just didn't. So that one really kind of disappointed me with this one. Now let's kind of compare and contrast both of these. I think that's really fun because I did find a big similarity between these two. The biggest similarity obviously was that there were people missing in both of these books, but one of these similarities was the narrative device. So both of these books use a type of second person narration where the main character is talking to you, but not you, the reader, but like you as in someone in the book who's missing or no longer there. I thought that was really funny that they both used that type of narration. For example, you would have hated this, you would have loved this. They do it so that they're talking about the people who are no longer in their lives. And I was like, wow, both of these books used that device. So I thought that was really cool. But I think the major differences between these two books is that in Local Woman Missing, we are really wondering like what is going on in this neighborhood. Whereas in Local Girl Missing, you are kind of wondering like what is going on with these people? Like what is going on between the relationships of these people? And here it's like what is happening here on this street? So I guess in that sense it's a little more like this one maybe is more plot driven and this one is more character driven, but I definitely had more of a connection with the characters in Local Girl Missing than I did in Local Woman Missing. So all that being said, if I were to choose a winner for this similar titles vlog, I would say it is Local Girl Missing by Claire Douglas. I gave Local Girl Missing a 3.5 and I gave Local Woman Missing a 3-star. And so I really feel like Local Girl Missing made me feel something versus Mary Kubica's Local Woman Missing. While it was entertaining, I didn't really feel anything there, and I wished that some of those events that happened didn't feel as manufactured. So you win, local girl missing this round. So have you read either of these books? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought. And this was really fun. I think I'll do this again for two more books that are similar, or two books that have the same exact title. If you guys have any recommendations, let me know. I would love to hear about any thrillers that are like similarly titled that you would love to just kind of like compare. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and don't forget to subscribe to my bookish newsletter, which comes out every Tuesday morning, listing all the new horror and thriller releases. You can sign up at the link in the description box below. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!